Welcome back to Kind of Funny's The Mandalorian in Review. That's right, we are reviewing every episode of Season 1 of The Mandalorian. I'm Tim Gettys. That's Andy Cortez. That is Kevin Coelho. Over there we got Nick Scarpino.
It's okay. It's all right.
We got Barrett on the boards.
Such is our way.
Greg Miller is on a flight.
Such is our code.
Such is our way.
Should we text him?
Way is the thing.
This is the code.
Text Greg?
No. Do you want to hear my Greg Miller story for today?
Yeah.
Obviously, I came in late. Forgot that we were doing the shows earlier. That's on me. I'll take that one.
all good.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
one.
who comes in late? Who missed the shows?
Fucking great. Oh, hey, Andy.
Stupid.
What's up? Good to see you.
What's up, guys?
Walk in, and Greg's. I'm on the phone. I got a bunch of stuff. Greg comes down as I'm leaving. He looks at me, waves at me, and then just slams the gate and walks off. And as he gets about half a block down, goes, "Sorry, dude." As I'm like fumbling with my keys to try to get in, and I'm like, "It's cool, man. I get it.
man.
You're the
Just
CEO.
go.
You got a flight
Do
to LA.
whatever you wanna do.
You're doing game stuff or whatever down there. I don't know. Don't pay attention.
Great.
to
We have a games daily. We have to do it early today. We're going at 9:30. Let's look at the calendar. Oh, it says Greg and Tim. Oh, that's great. That's great. Who was here when he didn't need to be? This guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Who did I not want to see when I was parking? Imran Khan.
Oh, that
walking across
motherfucker.
the street. I was like, I'm going home. Fuck this.
I would have just slept in the back of my car, not in the back seat in the little hatchback area, just nestled in.
Oh, this episode sucked. Huh?
Yeah. So this show is live every
Holy shit.
what day is it now? Friday.
Today's Friday,
Twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames when the new episodes come out of The Mandalorian. You can get this show on youtube.com/kindoffunnylater. You can get it on roosterteeth.com. You can get the podcast by searching for Kind of Funny Reviews. You can also get the show ad-free by going to patreon.com/kindoffunny, just like our Patreon producer, Al Tribesman, the Predator himself.
They're hunting him. Jedi are hunting him now.
No, it's the when he goes with the mask sound that it makes. Remember when it goes like it does that, and then it like he sees the people. It's like
times.
it's not registering. Maybe am I doing it right? Am I doing it?
I don't know.
Why did they add the zoom in functionality in the Mandalorian's helmet this time instead of him putting a little scope up?
They probably lost the scope because it was so
his,
small and
armor
stupid
upgrade.
looking.
Oh, you think so?
That's the metal. They made new metal.
Yeah.
Beskar metal. Beskar, yeah.
The Beskar steel
You think that they
has a
they put the
one-time,
Beskar steel and
two-time
like,
zoom in
hey,
on it.
We've
Yes.
got you. Do you want the zoom in on this? He's like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Well, the problem is, like,
he was like this.
I've been using this.
Yeah, I think it was like, wait a minute.
I don't
you can
really
do that?
know where to put it.
You can do that in the lens?
The zoom
so
makes
much-
it fisheye, though. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
kind of like, you know
yeah.
what? Like, it's like
It's
they
an artificial
advertise it
zoom.
that you can like 2 times, but really you can't.
I've been
yeah.
using this thing. There's a lot of dust in it. Like I can't.
Do you think he's got portrait mode in that thing too? Where when he wants to take a
It's,
picture?
okay, hey, get closer. Okay, too close. Too close. Hold on. No.
Hold on.
Oh, you're looking good. It's
Why
like,
is
oh,
it so
fuck.
fuzzy? It's so fuzzy
Do
around
you
the
think
edges.
he did the zoom and then was like, I need a little extra? I'm gonna pull this off the gun. Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that little, that
And
little
that's why
extra
he went to put it in his eye. He's like,
blank?
no, I'm zoomed in. I got to put it more. You know?
See, if he had Tim next to him, Tim would just go do the thing where he shakes his head. Like,
Yeah.
why are you using the thing? You don't
Look
need
at
to
the
use thing
camera.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chapter 5, The Gunslinger. Spit all over my
You
laptop.
did.
That was an excessive amount of
Free
spit.
wet down.
Chapter 5, The Gunslinger, released on December 6th, 2019, directed by Dave Filoni. First episode of this series written by Dave Filoni. First episode not written by Jon Favreau. So far, all 4 episodes have been the Fav, and now it's the Filone. 30-minute
really tell.
runtime. on
Fab
this
and
one.
Filoni coming.
This is 30 minutes?
TNT.
30 minutes.
Yeah, interesting.
31.
31 minutes.
Yeah, because 5 minutes were the Disney Plus logo, the Star Wars thingy, the recap.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
14 minutes were the like riding the speeder bikes in the desert. 18 minutes was the woman in the beginning just being weird, and then
being
30
weird.
minutes was the guy who just got his first acting job.
God. So right.
This episode sucked, man. Oh my god.
Who the fuck is casting this show?
They
Dude,
need to get
do you know who is casting the show? Because I looked in the credits to see, because
It can't be
I had the same feeling. I'm like, this show has a serious casting problem.
They're giving friends
Sarah
jobs.
Haley Finn, the same person
That's crazy.
that cast the MCU.
So
No way.
that must be like her C squad, where she's like, "Hey, intern, we've got this Disney Plus show. Can you just bring a bunch of your friends over and have them be in it?" Because the woman that they got for the beginning part is, I'm like, why would you go with her for this vibe? And
People like her.
do they like her?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the guy that they got, where he literally goes, "This is my first job," and my first thought was, acting? This is the first time you've ever acted? And then they had the goddamn audacity to seat this guy at Han and Chewie's table. And if I saw that, if I was Han and Chewie, I would just shoot him in the fucking head. Take that stupid earring out and go back to acting school, sir, because you do not know what the fuck you're talking about.
You don't deserve to sit
You
there,
don't.
my friend.
This is, oh, God. And this is what I was worried about. I'm like, are they all going to be like this? Are they all just going to be 30-minute throwaway episodes where nothing really happens? Nothing important happened in this. And it sucks
I am
'cause you got-
shocked that this is the route they went with this episode following up last week's episode. If this was a 20-episode season of a show and this was the second 10 episodes last week's episode, if that makes sense, I'd have been totally like, cool. There was some fun elements here. Fan service sometimes worked really well. Sometimes, why is he sitting there? You know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting because, like, if you told me they were going to do a Disney Plus show where they go back to Tatooine and the Mos Eisley Cantina and all that stuff, I'd be like, oh, that'd be really interesting to see. And for some reason, it just wasn't.
See, I think that it was, and I was talking to Kevin about this. I liked the first time seeing Tatooine since the original trilogy chronologically, right? I liked going back there, seeing it was the lore, the world building that they did of having the droids running the cantina, whereas back in the original trilogy, droids weren't welcome there. It's like things like that, like seeing it grow, the stormtrooper things outside. I liked all of those elements.
That shot was dope.
I didn't like a lot of the other things. And again, it's just so weird where I feel like the Mandalorian so far, especially the Dave Filoni related ones, they teeter between the good fan service and the egregious fan service. And it's like going back to Tatooine. I know how people feel about that overall with this franchise. I liked it. It felt like something that I actually didn't expect them to do. And it's like they could have just went to another planet. But cool. We got to go back and see some familiar things. I like that they actually showed some reverence towards the prequels. Like, I hate it when they just pretend they don't exist. Seeing the pit droids, it's like, cool, yeah, they're there. We know they're there. Seeing the same kind of landing space, the same areas that we've seen now in multiple generations of these movies, I thought was really interesting. And like going back to them, like, the subtle differences, I'm like, cool, you kind of earned that. The high ground line, I'm like, cool, that's a subtle. If you get it, you get it. If you don't need to. But there was just so much.
By the way, none of this is subtle.
Like, I mean, it's
all this stuff is beating you over the head with fan service.
I don't think
this is
it's
the problem. Is
beating you
like
over the head.
to me, this is indicative of where this whole series is going. Is you're going to go back to these areas that everyone knows, but they're not going to be populated, and it's not going to be exciting. And that's just the Mandalorian so far in a nutshell. Yeah, we go back to the hangar that Han landed the Millennium Falcon in. Maybe, I don't know. It looks like that hangar,
similar,
right?
yeah.
And who do we get? A random character that I don't care about, acted poorly. And then we get those cool little pit droids, which, to be fair, they actually did a good job with those things. They actually had some fun character. But everything else, even when he's walking down, nothing feels populated. It feels less populated than A New Hope, which is like weird to say.
It looks like really clean too, which just makes me think that like they like built the sets, but like they didn't have enough money to like really make it look right.
Yeah, there's a certain like, there's just a certain I can't put my finger on it. But the actual visuals in this are just lacking in depth. And like and I don't mean like depth of field. I can't describe it perfectly. But there's just something when you look at it, you're like, it's missing something. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just more characters in the background. Maybe it's more shots, more coverage. I don't know. But like everything just feels kind of bland and flat and not fun. And it's so weird for me to say that.
It's missing a like second color pass.
Maybe a color pass, or I just feel like I think a lot of the shots that they use in this are just stuff that they don't need to be using. Like, we don't need to see, I get it. He's walking around Mos Eisley. That's cool. We don't need to see more than a couple seconds of that before he walks into the cool cantina or whatever.
I don't know. But you get so hung up on the walking.
It's
like
because it's
seeing
filler.
him
Because
it doesn't feel like filler. It feels like
dude,
that's what the show is.
I bet if we figured out, well, if that's what the show is, it's bad.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's going back to what I'm talking about like seeing how Tatooine's grown and stuff. That's where you see that stuff.
But you don't see it grow. You just see it empty. Like if he walked in there and it was like, I was like, oh my god, this is what this should look like. This is what it should have looked like in A New Hope. But we don't see that. We get one really, admittedly, amazing shot that was beautifully done of him walking by the stormtrooper helmets that are like on pikes. That's cool. But everything else, I'm just like, this looks like a bad backlot that I put a camera up and I had 1 minute to light. And like I know that I'm doing this a disservice, but like I just feel like this world is not fully realized. And they're like, what could we do that would be really cool? Let's have him walk. And I want someone by the end of this to do a supercut of all the times he's walking around, and I want to see how many minutes of the time they have in this series has been chewed up by him just slowly walking down a road. Because like if it's more than 5, that's not good.
I disagree.
I'm not too hung up on that. I just feel like my experience with Mandalorian so far has been, kind of middling to holy shit, whoa, episode 3, this is great. And then 4 kind of took a dip, and 5 is like the lowest I've ever felt so far with this show. My hype levels with their callbacks kind of started and ended with them mentioning Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
Because once they landed and we are introduced to these 2 new characters, I just... this is going to be a weird reference, but for people who get it, you'll get it. This feels... watching those 2 character actors reminded me a lot of when they hire actors that are bad on purpose in Tim and Eric, on the Tim and Eric show, or on Nathan For You. They do this thing where they hire people because they know they're bad, and then they film them to make them pretend that they're going to be in an actual like real life movie, and you see them acting, and it's really
cool.
and it's
Yeah,
really
seems
bad.
really
Yeah, it's terrible, and that's the vibe I got with a lot of these actors. I think these were really bad choices to cast. The fucking like Pixar silly music when she's holding the baby
that's
Yoda.
my problem.
So what is this
This
show?
woman that we get this character, and the way that the actress played the character felt Jar Jar levels, and then they're like, you know what? In case that wasn't enough, here's some Jar Jar fucking music. What the hell did they do with the score there? It did not feel Star Wars, and I'm okay with Star Wars doing different things and having different types of people and vibes. This did not work. This did not feel authentically Star Wars at all, and I hated that she wasn't just at the beginning. She was in the whole fucking episode.
Why? Because is this person going to be
Because of the worst decision Mandalorian ever made, that he made like over and over and over. Leaving Baby Yoda in the fucking ship.
Yeah.
What are you
This
doing?
thing can get out. We know this, right? This is such a weirdly done series for me. And I don't want to harp on the acting, because I also think that the lines that they're giving these actors to say are so fucking generic that like I don't even I think it's a perfect example of like Natalie Portman in the prequels, where you're like, oh, everyone was terrible in that, but Natalie Portman's not a bad actor. She's actually a phenomenal actor. She's actually like been in Black Swan and The Professional, and when she has great material to dig into, she really finds a really deep character. But because the dialogue was so surface level, you just get generic action adventure speak that you could just kind of close your eyes and throw at a page, and that could be in any shitty B-movie action movie. That's what we're getting here. Like, there's literally...
Oh, here's your ship. I was dinged up on the wing with the wingspan of the... Whatever the fuck you're saying.
What the fuck?
Cool.
Oh, there's carbon scoring there. Okay, another carbon scoring reference. That's great. And then when we get to the guy with the earring, it's like, I don't blame him 100%.
You're so hung up on the earring.
He looks like Shroud. He reminds me a lot of Shroud, the video
Well, it
game.
was just an interesting choice. I'm like, I've never seen anyone with an earring in Star Wars before. Not
I
that you
just
can't
love
do
it.
an earring.
It's such a Nick thing. that guy fucking sucks.
Yeah, I didn't
Doesn't,
notice the
doesn't-
earring, but he did suck.
Doesn't Carl Weathers have an earring too?
Does he have an earring?
I think so.
Well, there you
good
go.
for Carl
2
Weathers.
earrings.
I know, right?
This is
I don't know.
This is what this will be like.
Dub.
But we get to that guy, and
Maybe he's
it's
cool,
just
Carl
sad because he's like, all of this is just so cookie cutter. We have to go find this person because, and this person, by the way, is really bad. And I'm telling you, I'm a character who's telling you another character is really bad, so you know she's really bad. But like that's again the antithesis of show don't tell. Do we see her do some cool shit? Kinda, not really. Do we care if they catch her or not? Not really. By the end of this, do we care that she got one in the gut?
Do you know who she is, Nick?
It's Ming-Na.
Do you know who that is?
It's Mulan.
The voice of Mulan.
Hell yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think it was a really big mistake to like announce that she was going to be in the show before the show aired,
And have a
because you
total
have
of
some
5
level of
minutes.
expectation of like how much she's going to be in, and then she's in 5 minutes in one
I feel
episode.
like all of that stuff is on people's expectations of like they never said that these characters are going to be in a lot of it, and they announced all of them, and they like even in the featurettes and stuff they talked to them about as if they were cameos.
Well, but it's like, but
for
it's
even Taika, for even Gina Carano and all of
Taika
that.
but it's
breaks my
sad for
heart,
me
man.
because all of those people, well, not Gina Carano, but like Taika and with Ming-Na, like I think that's her full name, right?
Ming-Na Wen.
Ming-Na Wen. But is it Ming-Na her first name?
Yeah.
Okay. She's a phenomenal actor. Taika's phenomenal. It would have been great to see her and him have a few like episode arc together because she's really good and Pedro Pascal's really good. But for some reason they were like, we have the guy from Narcos. Just go get your friends. We'll fill them in with all the side characters that he can bounce off of. And man, it's not good. The Rhea Perlman character at the beginning of this, I could do without. Like,
She was so bad. Like it just
Comically
sucks because
bad.
like this to me, I still think the first episode's worse than this. But like it's weird where I'm really enjoying the show and I can't wait for next week and in equal measure to how I felt last week. But like this was not good. Like definitively
No.
not good. And I feel like the first one, like it had the Baby Yoda reveal, and it was like I was much more excited about the next week of what's going on.
The first episode had IG-11, like that whole shit. Like
That
this,
was-
this
that
had
whole-
nothing.
I like the speeder bikes in this stuff. I like the adventure that they went on like with the stuff. I just didn't like a lot of the choices they made
I
within
just feel like so many of the little adventures they're going on are like just so cookie cutter and then so half-assed of like, all right, we got to go over here to find it. All right, so we're going to go.
And they find it.
You find it. All right, I'm going to go get a thing. And it's like, all right, well, that was it. It was resolved really quick.
It's
Yeah.
pretty
Like-
shocking.
Yeah, there's
this
no
this lady is like,
She's the baddest
she's been
mercenary on the planet.
The,
Oh, I
like
got it.
the bounty list for a long time, and no one's dumb enough to go find. And then they got her.
Yeah, there's zero
She-
escalation
she
of drama.
kept shooting the dude with like armor that her gun couldn't penetrate until the other guy came up behind her and was like, "Hey, stop."
And that was really horrible. Too.
And it was just like, did she forget? Did someone else made it past? You know what I mean? Like someone that's like an amazing fucking fighter, like would be like, "Oh shit, this one got through. He's more of a problem than that guy who is still on the low ground." You know?
And the fight that they have like right after that was just like weirdly filmed.
Yeah,
and
but
dark.
I
It was very dark.
But I like her like taking him down and shit. I
Yeah,
felt like
it-
she's so cool at fighting.
It was cool, but I just don't think it was shown off very well.
Sure.
It was a weird
so
choice.
much of this felt like a fan YouTube video.
It-
Like
it-
I
yeah.
know
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
we
it
go to
did.
that a lot as like
It all
because
feels
but
like
it
that.
feels like
Yeah.
I,
But
no, I don't think it all feels
Do you
like
know why
that.
it feels like that? It's
The
because
acting, the show, the way it looks, the presentation, it
But
all
it's-
like
it's
this
because-
episode especially. I'm not talking about the other ones. I think this one, like really, like when I see this, it's like, oh, that's a video that went viral. Did you check out that Star Wars video
Yeah,
that
I totally agree
VFX
with
that
that.
Collider made? You know, or not? Right?
Corridor Digital.
Corridor. I always say the wrong fucking name.
I would
Like
love
the-
to watch the
Josh
Clash.
McCouga.
the speeder in the dune scenes I thought looked terrible. The sand looked awful.
Well, you didn't like the fact that their hair wasn't blowing in the wind as they were riding at 100 miles an hour in a speeder.
Yeah, short hair.
This was the
He was literally like this. He was like the robe was blowing on one shot, but another shot, the guy's hair was just like perfect. And I'm like, oh well, man, you should have put a fan on him or something.
this
to sell
was
that
the
effect.
kind of the first episode I think that the Unreal Engine LED wall, ceiling, floor stuff really stuck out to me, where it was so obvious and blatant what the technology that they're using. Like when they're in the sand, when what's her face in the beginning is in front of the Razor Crest in front of his ship, and you could tell that all of that hangar is just an LED screen with soft focus.
Yeah.
Like this episode especially kind of that's what this one showed its flaws a lot more when they're in the desert and the lighting just seems kind of off, and it seems like they are. Because I had just shown my dad, like, oh yeah, Dad, this is how, when I was back home for Thanksgiving. This is how they film it. Check it out. This is what they do with a lot of the environments. It's just one giant LED room, and they're actually getting like natural lighting. That's why you get the reflections and all that. And this one was it looked really off.
Yeah, going back to
Very
your point about
obvious.
the YouTube videos, right? The reason why a lot of those videos, like the reason why it feels like that is because most people that make those videos are like, hey, we just want to make a really cool action scene. And it's really, really fun to watch. But the reason why why those end up feeling, I don't want to say empty because that's what they're for, but in a show that's got a narrative, the reason why this is feeling empty and feeling more like those videos, those YouTube videos, is because we're not really engaged with the characters. We really don't care what's happening. And when you don't care what's happening to any of the characters, it just feels, it's just boring.
And I think it's more than that, because on top of that, it's like you really do care about some of the characters.
I care about one character
And you just
in this.
want more on that.
Yes.
And it's like this, I'm so shocked they made this diversion. And like knowing that we only have 3 episodes left in the season
What a waste.
is a huge bummer. Knowing there's a season 2, it's like, I want more resolution now. I feel like we're also kind of owed a bit more resolution with what was set up early on. And it's been long enough now of us kind of like just building the world and building a little bit of the Yoda stuff. And the biggest issue I have with this whole episode is last week I was talking about how every episode they up the Baby Yoda cuteness shit. This is the first episode they don't. It's like he walks down the thing again, and like we get him like kind of like looking up at her, and it's like it's adorable and it's cute, but it's like we didn't get a new like the ball moment or him using the Force and like passing out or drinking the tea. It's like
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, too, those are going to start to wear thin, like we talked about last week, because we want to know what the fuck is going on with this thing. And right now, we're missing a very important part of the story arc, which is the second act. We have a lot of setup, and that's it, right? if this were a Star Wars movie, we would have gotten that cute moment where he reaches up, all this stuff, right after, like right before the first act turning point, so about 25 minutes in, and then the rest of it would be like, what is this thing? Is he going to talk? What is the purpose of this? What is the grander story here? And
Why do
they're
they
just
want him?
Why do
Yeah.
they want him so badly? And if they're not going to, like, they need to answer that question in the next episode, or else. If the next episode is just another throwaway episode where we have a random cameo from and again, no discredit to Ming-Na, but like just a random actor that we kind of know, like this is just an utter waste of the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, I really wish that this episode had been like he's going to Tatooine because there's a like squadron of stormtroopers that like have information and he's trying to get it to find out what's going on with Baby Yoda and how he can be like move that problem forward. Instead, it was just a filler episode that was like, great.
Before
that
we
wasn't
move
worth
on,
it.
let me tell you, this episode's brought to you by Me Undies. By this time of year, the planners and Virgos of the world have checked off everything on their list, while the rest of us last-minute people are running around like psychos trying to figure out what to get everyone. Don't fear, fellow last-minute gifters. Me Undies has everyone on your list. Andy, you got them Me Undies. You got them unicorns, man.
got the unicorn
There you
one.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. What do I got right now?
I accidentally bought.
I got some
Oh, I
sushi.
got the sushi. I accidentally bought 2 pairs of the pizza ones. Like I accidentally had 2 quantity selected.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got an extra one. I was like, oh, they threw it in an extra one. I was like, oh no, I paid for that.
Hey, the pizza ones are hot though.
But you know,
that blue.
there's never too much pizza, Andy. You know what I'm saying?
It's so
And there's
right.
never too much Me Undies. This holiday season, cozy up in their new robes for men and women. Treat your feet in their soft new slippers. I gotta get some slippers. And of course, match the whole fam with their cute new baby bodysuit. Little baby Yoda bodysuit.
Oh,
you know
I
what I
love
mean?
it. I love it.
How
There's
small
Star
does it
Wars
go?
Me Undies as well. I don't know how small. How small does it go?
I don't know.
You can get 50% off your first pair, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee by going to meundies.com/morning. That's meundies.com/morning. Also, shout out to HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit, you can get easy seasonal recipes and pre-measured ingredients delivered right to your door. All you have to do is cook and enjoy. HelloFresh makes cooking delicious meals at home a reality regardless of your comfort in the kitchen. From step-by-step recipes to pre-measured ingredients, you'll have everything you need to get a wow-worthy dinner on the table in just about 30 minutes. There's something for everyone, from family recipes to calorie smart and vegetarian, and fun menu series like Hall of Fame and craft burgers. Gia made me the Korean bibimbap that I've been talking about.
It's a fun word to say.
Love that.
Say it again for me.
Yeah,
Bibimbap.
bibimbap. There you go. You can add extra meals to your weekly order as well as yummy add-ons like garlic bread and cookie dough. You can get 9 free meals free with HelloFresh by going to HelloFresh.com/morning9 and using code morning9. That's 9 free meals free with HelloFresh by going to HelloFresh.com/morning9 using code morning9. Check it out. How about that? I'm
How about
Iron
that?
Man. And finally, shout out to Upstart. As most of us have found out the hard way, getting into debt, it's easy, Andy. Getting out,
It's not so easy.
especially if your credit score isn't great. Thankfully now there's Upstart.com, the revolutionary lending platform that knows you're more than just your credit score and offers smarter interest rates to help you pay off high-interest credit card debt. Upstart goes beyond the traditional credit score when assessing your credit worthiness. They actually reward you based on your education and job history in the form of a smarter interest rate. That bit right there would have helped Greg Miller a lot back when he had some credit issues in his college days. They make it fast, simple, and easy to check your rate in just a few minutes. And the best part, once the loan is approved and accepted, most people get their funds the very next business day. Over 300,000 people have tried Upstart to pay, or have used Upstart to pay off credit cards to meet their financial goals. Feel free from the burden of high-interest credit card debt by consolidating everything into one monthly payment with Upstart. You can see why Upstart's ranked #1 in their category with over 300 businesses on Trustpilot, and hurry to upstart.com/morning to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes a few minutes and won't affect your credit. That's upstart.com/morning. Who do you guys think the end character is?
I thought it was just
Darth Maul.
I like
Another but random bounty hunter.
when
I
when
thought it
he
was
knelt
Carl
down. I
Weathers.
saw the thigh piece and I thought it was just like the Mandalorian. I was like, no, they wouldn't do that. But I was like, or would they?
I thought it was just Carl Weathers.
It's probably Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
But it was weird.
Yeah,
I was
it
like,
was
what?
really
Who
weird.
is this supposed to be? Is this supposed to be someone we know?
I
Because
thought it was gonna be like
so
Darth
far,
Maul or something.
Yeah,
I
like,
was
that's what I think. I'm
what?
like, unless it's someone big like that, why have this shot in there at all? Why not just show this
And
person's
I-
face? A cliffhanger with a character that you don't give a shit about or really
Maybe
know about
you do.
is not really a
like
big
this,
reveal.
But like
I-
that's where they
some-
should have shown the character, I think, because that would have been a cliffhanger. I feel like this is a tease at a cliffhanger. You know,
Yeah.
I
It's
thought
like
my
a-
video cut out. I was like, wait, Did I pause it? What the fuck? Why? Why would they not show what this is?
Really quick, just for set your expectations. Spoiler for other things, but at this point in the timeline, Darth Maul is actually dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is he?
They completed his story arc. He doesn't need
Or
anymore.
is he?
Or did
There's
they?
a lot of theories going around this how they would bring Boba Fett in to this whole thing because they're on Tatooine. I don't think that that's the case here.
Man.
But if they were going to.
That would just be a real
But if
bad
they were
decision.
gonna like show him or show a little bit more, so people are like, "Oh fuck." Is
So
that
they
Boba?
understand whoever the fuck they're teasing, you know?
I have a feeling it's the guy you like from Breaking Bad.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a
But
possibility,
again,
yeah,
there
because
I would have liked to see a little bit more.
yeah, I would have liked to see his face or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
because for I'm just trying to gather info from like the trailer that came out or like the 2 trailers or whatever, and from the shots that we've seen in this episode, it definitely seems like where we're dealing with Giancarlo's character is definitely still going to be on Tatooine. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's who they're trying to tease, but it
Or
Mm?
it could
It's Gina
be
Carano.
Bill Burr.
Oh yeah.
yeah, he
'cause
still
he's in it
he
at
still
some
has to
point.
appear.
I want
Bill Burr.
Giancarlo Esposito to walk up to the body and go, "Aquí tenemos un problema." That's how he. That's how he
Yeah,
talked.
yeah,
That's how he
that's
spoke
exactly
in
right.
Breaking Bad.
A lot of face.
Yeah,
going on
that's how,
there.
it was very, very enunciated. Aquí tenemos un problema. Like you can tell he doesn't really speak Spanish that well, but he just.
Maybe he just likes to enunciate
I don't know.
very,
It's
very
really weird.
well.
I was thinking on the ride home yesterday. I was like, man, it's gonna suck when they finally like name the Baby Yoda.
Yeah, they really will.
Like everybody's talking about like will it have a voice?
They'll
But
always
I-
call him Baby Yoda.
But my worry is like when they finally say when Father Yoda finally comes up to Baby Yoda and he's like, "Oh,
Cremball.
Jonathan," or something like that.
I don't think it's going to be Jonathan.
I'm gonna call him Jonathan Kent.
Tim, you went with Kremble. You think his name might be Kremble?
Maybe.
Kremble's a great name.
Thank you. Thank you.
It'll be like
So
when
wait.
they rename a baseball field, right? Like we had AT&T Park and then
Yeah.
they changed it to Oracle. It's like it's
Like,
still
that's
It had
AT&T.
Pac Bell Park.
What?
It was Pac Bell back in the
Oh,
day.
okay. Well, to give a better example, I'm from Cleveland. We had the Jake, and that was where the Cleveland Indians
Jake the
played.
Snake.
And then they changed it to Progressive. But everybody still calls it the fucking Jake, you know?
Hell yeah, they do.
It'll always be called Baby Yoda.
Jonathan.
Wait, here-
but here's the thing.
I think
like,
it's- but I think it's
any
really
name in
int-
comparison will sound like Jonathan because we were like, no, that's Baby Yoda. You know.
But like it's
Yeah, bitch.
kind of like I'm reading way too much into this, and this is way too much meta commentary on what you just said. What you just said struck such a chord with me because what you're saying is the second they start defining things that have mystery in Star Wars, it loses the fun factor, and it's kind of true. If this thing had it, like. I don't. They need to have a
Midichlorians?
really, really good background for this thing. Otherwise, because right now I'm like, oh, what is it? Is it the last Force user? This, that, and that. If it turns out this thing is just a random ass, what is it, crumble from the planet Yoda, I'm gonna be like, oh, this is not
Yodor.
as fun.
But I mean, that still would be a big deal. 'Cause it's like, it'd
Yeah,
be
his
another
species is, like,
species.
very
It just, I don't
rare,
know. It
yeah.
just feels to me like this series is starting to piddle out, and I'm like, don't waste it. Don't waste all these cool big things in this random show that's kind of cookie cutter. Put them in the movies, like you know.
That's
Oh,
sort of
no.
my
I
problem with
disagree.
this. Is that my problem with discussing the show is that there's just such a lack of depth. Like there aren't any awesome exchanges of dialogue where that we could like really deep
Well,
dive
you know, like
and
the
be
part
like,
where
what
it's
do you
like,
think?
I'm a bounty hunter from a blind this, my favorite here.
Like,
I'm like, okay, cool, man, thanks.
I remember that line.
like
My first job.
in no situation does he ever talk to a character where like, wow, this is like, holy shit, there's a lot
Not
of
since, like,
there's a lot of
the
nuance to this
third
conversation. There's none of that.
Yeah.
I like there was the only conversations of note that I think were good were between him and Nick Nolte, where I thought I was like, okay, you've got a character that's kind of wiser than he's letting on, and he's chosen to live this life of like this hermit, and that's interesting. I'm like, that's gonna be cool. If they do that, I'd be fine. Where you cast really good actors and let them act opposite Pedro Pascal and give them interesting like dynamics where they're opposite on some level, and then they figure out how to meet in the middle later on the road when they achieve the A plot. But they don't have any of this. The last two was like Gina Carano. I was like, how did you dig into the vault and find someone who's less compelling to watch than Gina Carano?
No, that's insane to me.
That's
It's
crazy.
It's utterly insane that we have an actress worse
Worse.
in this movie.
I think we had
In this
some
show.
cool conversation pieces with Werner Herzog. Or is that his name?
Werner Herzog.
Yeah,
Werner Herzog.
what-
He was good.
With
And
him,
I feel
I'll
like the
say
A
that.
plot is interesting. It
Yeah.
reminds me a lot
Anytime
of
we have A-plot
Last Jedi,
stuff, yeah.
where it's like the Kylo and Rey stuff is
Cool.
awesome, well done, interesting.
Why?
Give me more of that. Give me more of the, what do you call them, FMs?
Those fucking FMs,
Yeah.
slide into those
Slide
FMs,
into
man.
FMs.
Force
Messages.
messaging. No, and I'm with you, right? Like the Werner Herzog stuff was great. The Carl Weathers stuff was
Carl
great.
Weathers stuff,
The I forget the actor's name, but the guy that played the scientist, who was like, I tried to say it, but I tried to say it.
In that.
Where the fuck is he? Why are we not going back to that? Are we never going to see that guy again?
I want to clarify. I mean that like this episode had really nothing of note.
I know.
because like
Yeah.
But
those
neither-
other characters that were so compelling. I want to know more. Like,
But you missed the show last week. That was a big
No, I was
criticism of my. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was
Yeah.
here, yeah.
Remember last week when I was talking about how that was also kind of cookie cutter and like throwaway and like
Yeah.
they're really. I mean, to be fair, I liked the lead actress that they cast opposite of him, but everything else was just like, God, this is so fucking generic.
It's weird with the show where it's like I feel like it's unfortunately two shows at once, and I feel like that's the only reason it's also succeeding as much as it is in terms of like mainstream acceptability. And it's not just another Clone Wars type thing where if you watch it, you watch it. Otherwise, you don't. Where I'd be okay if it was Monster of the Week because like I have a fun enough time watching them on the speeder bikes, being in Tatooine, getting the tiny little Star Wars stuff. It's good enough to be that service level. But then when you have this Baby Yoda mystery and you have all these cool things going on with those the scientist character and all that, those are at odds with each other where it's like I'm constantly wanting to go back to this thing that as its own little mini series, like 3-episode movie series.
Yeah.
I'd be like way more intrigued about, whereas this feels like the other stuff is a constant diversion as opposed to if it was just that, I feel like all of us would be a bit more like, we get what that show is. It is just about exploring the worlds. Whereas this exploring the worlds feels like it's taken away from our Kremlock or whatever the fuck is
Well,
name
that's the
is.
thing.
Crumble.
Jonathan Kremble.
I feel like
can't crumble.
if this was a 14 episode season, these would be the filler episodes. Where like, oh, I didn't need these episodes, but like it's such a short season, and we're still getting the filler episodes.
That's one of my big problems is that I'm watching My Hero Academia. There's a lot of fucking
boy.
filler. I'm used to filler, but that's fine when a season is 28 episodes or whatever. I'm fine with that. But when a season is this short, when I'm watching a show that's another show that's this short called Watchmen, and it's fucking great.
and
now I'm not
every
again.
episode is fucking.
Like it's hard. You can't really compare the two, right? Like Star
You
Wars.
absolutely can
Yeah,
compare the
no,
two.
but can definitely
You
compare
can
the two.
100%
Star
compare
Wars
the
is
two.
one thing though. I
Yeah,
think
but Watchmen is a thing too.
Like Watchmen.
Yeah,
okay,
but that's
so
the
to be fair,
difference.
I've lowered my expectations with expecting
Yeah,
stuff from Star
Watchmen
Wars.
is a lot
Yeah,
smarter
that
and
sucks.
has a lot more depth off
Yeah.
the get go.
Yeah.
But this is what's disappointing is that why can't Star Wars have that? Why can't it have that level of depth? We have
It could.
seemingly billions of dollars to throw behind this, although you wouldn't know from a lot of these shots. I don't understand why they couldn't do a 6 episodes story arc that has real meaning and real like heart to it. And so far, like I just there's nothing here. Like you were saying, this
Wait,
is
how
2
many
and 1.
episodes
I
are
don't
there?
think so. I think this is
8.
half
We're
a
at
plot
5.
at best every episode.
We're fine. Oh,
Like,
eight.
why the fuck haven't we gone back to Werner Herzog? Why do we keep getting these generic ass assassins that keep after a certain point? Man, you just start to see behind the curtain of this stuff, and there's just not much there.
Yeah, I want to go back to that speeder bike moment really quick because the sequence bothered me of all right, stay up, I'm gonna go to sleep first sort of meeting up with those not meeting up, but the Tusken Raiders
Oh,
being
dude, I
there
totally
right
forgot
behind
about
him,
that.
and then
How did that happen?
the hand motions, and then
The
sign
give it-
language?
he wants your fucking
Binocs
or whatever. What? Why? No, you can't do that. Those are brand new. They were, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, they're still new.
Maybe
They're just
that'll
his.
like affect something later. No, it's just a
Yeah.
stupid.
Maybe
like,
they'll come back and save you.
Could have been
No.
a deleted scene. Like we didn't need that. You know?
I liked it though because it was like a different interaction with Tusken Raiders than we've seen.
They're not just
before.
animals.
Yeah.
Sure,
like where
like-
he knew how to like actually communicate with them, and like I agree, it doesn't really add to anything, but it's like dumb little lore stuff.
That's what I was talking about
but-
earlier.
or,
Like,
I
that's
like
shit
it.
that I appreciate and I think
Right.
is done well. It's just we need more like a plot.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I just think that there's so many things that they do that are just flat out dumb. Like the dude is looking that way, the Mandalorian is between them, and somehow these guys came out of nowhere because we see the terrain. It's not like there's a giant dune where they were hiding. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's not
and
a lot of
snuck
hidden-
up on them. Well, the Mandalorian was just like,
They
Yeah,
were
everything
hiding
feels
in
so
the CG
anticlimactic.
and green screen, Kevin. That's where they were hiding.
that's right.
Everything feels so anticlimactic, and then leading up to when they meet up with the assassin, and Mando gets shot off of his bike, boom, explosion, and then Homegirl's going for the kill shot, and the guy's magically behind her. like got you now, or whatever. It's just so
you now.
fucking terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like-
and it's also weird that like, so this is 30 minutes, right? So when you have a 30-minute, like most 30-minute shows are generally like episodic comedies. When you have something that's supposed to be a little bit more dramatic or action oriented, you really want to see that play out over 45 minutes to 50 minutes. And you want to see that play out so that you have those moments where the character hits that moment where you think they're going to win, and then, oh shit, they got outsmarted, and then they got to outsmart that person one more time, right? She should have gotten the beat on them. We should have seen that she was actually this badass mercenary that we set up, and got the beat on both of them, and like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep. Cool. Why the fuck would she stay up in the mountains? Why wouldn't she circle around them and flank them? None of this
Or just
makes
run.
any sense. Like there's just no escalation of tension or drama in any of this. He walks into a pub and goes, I need a job, and one person goes, I don't know if there's any jobs, and then guess what? There's a guy over there that goes, I got a job for you. Okay, cool, that was easy. And then, oh, this job is gonna be real, real hard. And then they go out there and it's like not that hard. And then we're done.
Well, no,
Like,
then
who
then
fuck wrote
the dude
this?
switched sides, and it's like, oh, then he kills her, and it's like, well, why wouldn't he still keep her for the bounty? You know?
I don't
And
get
it's like,
any of
oh,
that. Put her in the ship.
You know what I wanted to see?
Huh.
I know we can't do it because they set up for 5 episodes that he doesn't take his mask off. But there's the scene where the other guy was watching all night, right? Then he walks over to him. He's talking to him.
This
He's
is
just
Batman?
laying there, and he's not responding. Is he asleep? Is he just faking talking? I wanted to see naked Mandalorian.
Yep.
Naked Pedro Pascal running around. Gotcha, bitch. Pop him
There
in the
was
back of
one
the head.
second.
For a second, I was
really
I was
wondering.
also like-
Where I was like, did he just like ghost out of his armor? Man.
But
what-
also, like, why was he like, I'm gonna take a nap? You know, it's just one of those things where it's like, it seemed like, I understand that they had to waste time, but like,
But they don't.
why
have
was
to
he tired?
waste-
You know, it wasn't like,
I think that's a perfect criticism
Yeah.
of the last 2 episodes. I understand that they had to waste some time.
Yeah.
They had to literally wait. Someone was like, "Can we put out a 22-minute long episode?" And Kathleen Kennedy was like, "No, you have to hit at least 30 minutes." And Filoni was like, "Oh, come on, that's hard. We gotta write more. That's hard." And it sucks. I haven't watched the Clone Wars.
hard.
I think I've watched maybe 3 episodes of the Clone Wars. It didn't speak to me, unfortunately. And I my criticism of that show is just with that was a little too kiddie, I think. But this one, I'm like, you could have done anything with this, and you're just wasting this opportunity. I don't know. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, or a dead Rhinoc, whatever the fuck they called that thing.
And then Homegirl at the end, again, from the beginning with the frizzy
Rhea
hair.
Perlman. We'll just call her Rhea Perlman.
Okay,
Danny
shoot.
DeVito's wife.
Like
Sedaris.
the moment
That's not
where what's his face
Still
comes
alive,
out and he's
Kevin.
got the baby Yoda. He's like, I'm gonna kill this damn thing or whatever. And then hands up, Mando, and Mando has a little flashing, and she's like, "You're more clever than you look."
Good thing she said that. Good thing she said
Right?
it, you know?
Jesus.
I audibly said out loud, "What is going on?" Like, I'm being fucking duped. I'm being punked right now. This isn't a real episode.
She
Of
sucks, man.
this whole show, man. God, I've gone like fucking.
It's taking a nosedive.
The next episode, they can put out anything. I'll be like, it's
The
pretty
next
good.
episode,
yeah.
the next episode, they like to get me back. I need to have a shot of fucking young Mark Hamill walk in with a lightsaber to get me back into the show, because I'm just like, I can't watch 2 more episodes of this. It's just I can't, because they're only 20 minutes long. But
Yeah.
like, I just it's sad to me. It's sad to me, and this was like a fear of mine when they were starting to make some of this this content. And I wonder if the Marvel shows are going to be like this
That's
too.
the exact same thing I was
Yeah,
thinking,
fuck,
dude.
that's-
When
Because if the Marvel shows are like this
well,
too, it's going to be very disappointing.
when the guy
Marvel-
sneaks up on the assassin, I thought, fuck, I hope this is not how Captain or Winter Soldier and the
Falcons.
Hawkeye, no,
Yeah.
all that shit. Like,
I-
I
Falcon and
hope
Cap.
it's not like
I
that.
have a feeling that there is a stronger
Team.
it's stronger team that we know that like they have Kevin Feige with like plans and dreams and goals that he's pushing forward. You know what I mean? And like so far the movies have been so well casted that like I can't imagine that like they're gonna drop the ball. This
And the
time.
way they've been talking about those shows, it seems like they are supposed to be integrated very well into the movies, at least like what they've talked about with Scarlet Witch's
Yeah.
one leading into Doctor Strange. Like because they've got Kevin like at the helm of that. I don't think we might see some of the same production value, but I think there will be more of a goal with
production
those shows.
value. I'm fine with.
Yeah.
Like if it's gonna look like this, I'm totally fine with that as long as there are compelling characters with great with awesome arcs and cool dialogue and great exchanges and interactions that we're not used to seeing. Yeah, I want to be
that aren't generic.
I want to be glued to my TV and what's gonna happen next. Oh my god, I hadn't like.
What's the comparison of The Watchmen? It's like every episode is like at the end, I'm like, fuck, I cannot wait to next week, and I don't feel that with this. It's now 2 episodes where it's like the end. I was just like, I hope next week isn't like this again.
Yeah.
You know,
I just want baby Wolverine. That's all I need. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have to find out if the show gets any better.
Really quick, sorry, I just want to say, like, I overall liked the story of the episode. I like what they're doing with like the kind of week to week whatever. I agree with you that they're at odds. I was just really disappointed in the people that they cast for those characters because I think they could have worked, but better. It felt like a stage play for most of it. And my boy Dave Filoni.
But even if they were better actors,
man.
that's my problem. Even if they were better actors and we didn't have a problem with the acting,
The story's
I'd
so
still be
thin.
like their interactions weren't very good. They weren't playing very there's still a writing issue.
The writing's
There's
terrible.
still-
Yeah.
The
like
writing's
that-
terrible. The plot's terrible. The acting's terrible.
yeah.
If all of those 3 elements are bad,
I just wanted
that
to give
equals a bad show.
I just wanted to give some love because
I'm trying
we're
to like.
really like
I'm
down
trying
on
to see it too.
Yeah.
man.
But I am saying, like, that's 2 episodes. I really like the first 3, and I have a feeling once we get back on track with the Baby Yoda storyline, I think that, like, there's something they could do that's cool there. And I believe that they still have something cool there. It's too bad that, like, maybe they should have done a 5 episode season if 2 of them were going to be filler like that. 6 episodes.
I think the first 2 episodes we came in with a lot of good grace, and we gave them a little bit more credit than I think maybe they're due. But looking at this, I'm like, wow.
I've
this is
rewatched
just-
the first 3 episodes multiple times, and like that's not like just because it's like I enjoy the first episode. I enjoy the introduction of the Mandalorian character. And
Well, I mean, in the second episode, they have what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Which is that he actually is tested, and we get some interesting
Right.
moments. It's just like, I just can't imagine when they were sitting when they had a 5-minute meeting at Starbucks to beat out the entire 10-episode arc of this, which I imagine happened very, very fast. I can't imagine what they were thinking.
I did say this on Twitter, and I want to say it here, is that like I think some of our audience's criticism of our criticism is kind of like not everything has to be action packed, guys. Like
But it
and
needs
it's
to be
and
good.
Exactly. That's my problem. Is like in some of my favorite episodes of Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, The Wire, when there's downtime and there's not a whole lot of action, there's not a whole lot of action and stuff, we have characters that are saying really important things with writing that has depth that makes you think, and you're like, fuck that. Not only is what they're writing interesting, but at the end of the episode, you're like, fuck, that was really well made. And I just haven't really gotten that.
So the difference between those shows you're talking about and this show is that those shows
Don't have $40 million or whatever.
Well, no, but they're more centered around the actual talking parts, right? Like in Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, in my opinion, was best when the action just served to be a plot point to push along those character arcs, right? Game of Thrones didn't have infinite budget, so a lot of their war stuff, with the exception of like the Battle of the Bastards, was just like very quick. Like, oh, we got the one quick scene, he gets knocked out, boom, we don't see the rest of it. And guess what? I don't care because Tyrion's such a compelling character, and the politics of the world surrounding him are so fucking interesting that I want to just see him sitting at a table talking to his sister because they're such good actors, and there's so much subtext and so much built into that you're like, what the fuck who's gonna kill who? In this, there's really 2 tools you can use in a Star Wars franchise: action and drama, and this one seems to have neither of those things. So we have no character dynamics, and we don't have that much action in this. What are we left with? We're left with a speeder bike scene that they're hoping we go, hey, remember how they used to do that in the old ones? And we're on that planet? Well, hopefully that's enough. Hopefully the fan service is enough to keep you guys going for 3 more episodes.
We'll see if they will next week. Until then.
I hope the next episode is good. I'm sad. I like Star Wars.